everybody for joining us today at our third, actually, CUcard broadcast of Connections. And it's the first of 2014, so if there's any new employees out there that we haven't got a chance to talk with on the phone, and this is your first time meeting us, my name's Michelle Fullerton, and I'm Program Services Administrator of the CUcard program. And sitting with me today is Monica Stotyn, and she's Program Services Specialist, as well as Jennifer and Jen, who are currently in the other room doing your quest live at this time. So we're just trying to change the format a little bit this time, and just letting everybody get an idea of the different office locations, places and rooms in our office, but also just getting a feel of the best format of these broadcasts at this time. So I hope you enjoy this session, and I'm going to hand it over to Monica just to do some quick housekeeping items at this time.
Yes, welcome, and thank you again for joining us. We do want to welcome your questions and any comments. There should be a section I believe on the right-hand side of your screen where you can type in any questions that you have, and Joe will relay them to us. There are also all of the video controls in the lower right corner, and your volume to adjust your screen size. So hopefully you're finding everything okay there, and we should be good to get going on what's new in the CUcard program.
We have a few different areas we just want to cover today, and one of those, as Monica stated, is what's new. And I just wanted to give a idea of what credit unions are currently doing each month, as well as throughout the year within the CUcard program. And so one of the areas we have currently is we have a total of 15 credit unions on the CUcard program, and out of those there are 6 credit unions who have converted to online, and we actually this month converted our 7th credit union to online. And so that's exciting. It's a pretty big project, anywhere from 12 to 6 weeks from converting from a batch environment to an online environment. The other areas we have coming up is a new ATM terminal that will be coming up into the Burlington area, which is always great to see. We don't tend to have very many new ones added each year, but it's nice to have a new one pop up.
How many terminals do we have at this point now?
On the Falcon ATM network, we have 147 ATM terminals amongst all of the Falcon and non-surcharging affiliates, and this will be our 148th ATM terminal, if those of you didn't know how many we actually had out there. So.
Great. And then I've also heard that I believe we got an email about some new changes coming up with ATMs, that there's going to be some software adjustments. So
yeah, so a lot of people have been calling me, and thank you again for your patience. We have Windows XP that is being sunsetted by Microsoft themselves. So any ATM terminal that currently is on XP, we're starting to research the best direction to go with upgrading to Windows 7. There are some challenges, so I'm certainly working through those with our vendor Diebold, and we'll have one credit union this month that, coming month, April, that is going to be our first credit union who's going to switch to Windows 7. So it's definitely a learning experience, and then we'll start bringing everybody else in.
But it's not something that credit unions need to have an immediate concern about for their ATMs right now.
Not right now. The service won't end.
Okay.
It's more the fact of knowing in the future that your ATM is PCI compliant, and it's a good idea. It's something to think about moving forward, but we'd like to try to get one or two under our belts first and know the pros and cons of which directions to go, and definitely have credit unions who have contacted me, and I'll get to you as soon as possible and get those going and on the schedule.
Great.
For sure. The other area we have, and the last thing in regards to what's new that we want to talk about today, was some new products that are coming up. And one of those new products that we've just introduced in the last, I would say 6 months, I think, is mobile check deposit. We have one credit union who has converted to that product. It's something new, so we ended up having a beta tester on that program, and the conversion was this past month in January-February timeframe. And that conversion actually has had tremendous reviews in regards to the members loving this new product. The mobile check deposit, if those who don't know what it is, it's taking a picture of your check and having everything in place to make it then go to your actual debit card account. Right. So there's a program that's utilized from a third-party vendor that Vantiv uses, where you load your card number and some personal information onto the program, and you take a picture of that check, and then it's deposited. So it's just another avenue to have in place in regards to ATM machines for those who can't make it to ATM machine or out to your branches. It's a great second.
Yeah, that seems just really convenient for members to be able to do. I know my credit union offers it, but I haven't taken that jump yet to download it onto. I just got a smartphone, but I'm going to look into that for myself personally. So it's exciting that more credit unions are jumping on with that, just to help their members.
Yeah, it's I know the credit union who ended up adding it onto their program. It's definitely a nice added benefit for sure. Yeah. It's a product that is offered by Vantiv in two different options. They're both turnkey options, but one is just a generic Genie, low cost alternative option. But there's also another option where you can customize it as well. So we certainly get a chance to offer it two different ways depending on your credit union.
So if credit unions wanted to discuss this further, they can get in touch with you or Brian, probably?
Yeah, yep, they can give Brian a quick call at our office if you're interested in talking about it further. We've actually had this first month for the credit union over 30 deposits by members. Oh, I'm not sure how many members have signed up, but that's a really good turnaround time for the first full month of activity. So
great.
But yeah, give Brian a quick call, and we can get you some quotes and guide you in the right direction for that product. So. And so that is it for that section. And so I'm going to pop over to chargeback updates and new procedures for fraud cases and such.
Great.
With Monica.
Thanks. So just a couple of updates in regards to chargebacks. The primary contacts within the program are Jennifer and myself, and we're always happy to help when you have any concerns, and we love working with you. And one of the things that's come up recently is in regards to card swiped chargebacks, and Michelle will kind of help me explain this a little bit too, but we're no longer disputing any transactions where the transaction in question, if it's fraudulent, the card has actually been swiped at the merchant. So whether that's counterfeit, someone has created a counterfeit card, or if the actual card was lost or stolen, correct, Michelle?
Right. Yeah.
It's any type of that fraudulent transaction. If the card is present and it's not an online or a mail telephone order, we are not disputing those into Vantiv. Previously, we were doing this simply to get them reversed. So we would have this reporting documentation for your CUNA Mutual bond, but this is actually a benefit for your credit union. It is saving you time and money, and because it would typically cost $12 per dispute, and then $12 if it's reversed. So that's a total of $24 per transaction, while these really are going to be represented with the supporting documentation.
Yeah, and I think one of the challenges before was we needed the signed sales draft to submit that claim on the CUNA Mutual bond, and so one of the steps I had to do was making sure to give CUNA Mutual a call and finding out, okay, if you if the sales draft is no longer available because of this process, what supporting documentation do you need to send in with your bond claims? And there's just the one report, the CD 2021?
CD 31.
31, that CUNY Mitchell has said is enough supporting documentation. Again, they will follow along with the MasterCard rules and regulations, and it just understanding the time frame of what it takes to key a chargeback just to have it denied to get that sales draft. So it's not the fact you're losing any chargeback rights. In this case, the transactions would have been denied anyways. It was just to get that sales draft back for your bond claim.
So it's really saving the credit union a step and
for sure.
and time.
Yeah.
So we're glad that that now all, like Michelle said, all that you do need for submitting those in-person chargebacks is towards your bond is just that authorization log, and we're happy to pull that for you at any time and just fax them your way. And then we also just wanted to bring up along those lines of these types of disputes is the Affidavit of Fraud form. More and more credit unions have been utilizing this form. It is something that we actually just put on Connect, but we'll explain a little bit more about that in a moment. But it's just a very simple 2-page form that you can fill out with your member, and it's, ask the basic questions of, member's name, address, they sign several times, list the transactions. So it's a simple form, and it's great because you don't have to wait for paperwork from us.
Yeah.
You can just go ahead and dispute, you can go ahead and fill this out with your member at any point, and we don't need for this type of dispute the ones that we are unable to actually key into Vantiv, like the QPS, card swiped, and anything that's a small dollar amount that you as a credit union don't want to dispute, those we won't be submitting, and so we don't need anything on our end. So it's really up to you as a credit union of what's best for you to use. So a lot of credit unions are finding that this Affidavit of Fraud is great because it covers something for you to have on your record.
And you just don't have to wait for the paperwork. So if a credit union has 4 or 5 different transactions that need to be keyed, we here at the office will end up looking those transactions up, letting you know which transactions we are able to key, and then it just gives you a chance to have the affidavit and fraud in front of you, potentially the chargeback paperwork if available at the time, to members to sign immediately rather than, like you said, having to wait to come back 3 or 4 different times, because we can also use that signature on file. So by chance, if we don't get a chance to key the chargeback paperwork due to the workload, they're able to sign that affidavit of fraud and continue to use that signature on file for the rest of the chargebacks.
Definitely. And it's also just less paperwork as well. If there's a whole case where we're not disputing any of it, it's simply 2 pages versus each transaction that we're unable to dispute. We're typically typing up the chargeback letter and the member letter and the chargeback form. So that's 2 per transaction instead of just 2 per member. So it's a lot less paperwork as well for you and your member to fill out. So maybe we can actually, Michelle, if you don't mind, pulling up Connect, and we can just show you all where we have placed this Affidavit of Fraud for your use.
So on the screen now you should see the Connect dashboard, and on that dashboard, if you scroll down on the left-hand side to the bottom, you will see training materials. Those training materials is a great reference area. We have training videos there, the past CUcard connection broadcast as well. But in regards to the form Monica was discussing, it's under Forms directory, so you just left click on that Forms directory, which will bring up a list of shared documents on our Connect system, and we uploaded the Affidavit of Fraud there this afternoon.
So it's in the same folder as where you go to submit a chargeback request.
So it's right at your fingertips.
Great.
Sure.
Also, many of you have received an email from myself recently in regards to just having an updated contact database for everyone at each credit union in regards to fraud and prevention, lost and stolen cases, and the CAN-CAM compromise cardless. And we just wanted to have a current listing of everyone at your credit union to contact. And what we have taken from that is now we know who to send an email to, as we are kind of shifting gears a little bit of how we handle these fraud and prevention cases, as well as lost and stolen. So we've got a couple of changes there, and maybe Michelle, if we want to pop back over, and we can show folks where they can find these new directories, and we can kind of walk through them together.
I think one of the things we're trying to strive for is making sure that an email to the credit union gets to one person. If that person is not there, to definitely have a backup. It's really important when you have fraud cases, lost and stolen and compromised card listings, that the person who may be on vacation has a backup, which is just really important.
And I think we did, for every credit union, get at least 2 contacts. Some of you wanted 3, so that's great, and we're happy to add anyone in at any point. Just let myself or one of the other girls know, and we can make any changes to that.
And in that transition, I know currently we email out to let you know when we have faxed over an actual compromised case or a compromised card listing, fraud case or compromised card listing. And what we're trying to transition to in the next couple of months is actually uploading those to Connect, so that there's directories that we're going to be adding to connect to each person's dashboard, and those will again be located on the dashboard on the left-hand side. And if you scroll down under document libraries, you'll see in this example that we've added the fraud case sheets, the lost and stolen reports, and the compromised card listings as they've previously been there. So credit unions might be used to currently getting an email from us saying, hey, here's our compromised card listing. We'll upload those to Connect for you currently. That was our first step. And our second step is going to be the fraud case sheets. We're going to look towards in the next couple of months of, now that we've got those contacts, to have those starting to be uploaded. So our goal is to get those uploaded and then emailed out to credit unions, just notifying you that that has been uploaded to Connect, rather than the loose paper and having people have to refax it or notify another office.
Yeah,
just
I was going to say
everything.
That'll be great for credit unions. That it'll be easier. Anyone from your credit union can access it at any time. You can go back and check it. Like you said, if it got lost on your desk with a lot of other paperwork, you can simply, anyone who has access to Connect can log in and grab that list from any office.
And if it's certainly a reminder if there's one that we just need to update on, or just checking in because we haven't heard for a couple months, just say, hey, shoot a new email, just say quickly checking on this particular fraud case, and they can go right to the directory rather than saying, can you refax it? So just trying to streamline everything for sure. And my biggest goal is actually to go and make sure we go in this direction with lost and stolen, instead of emailing you or calling you and saying that as well. We have a form that we can also start uploading. We'll do one step at a time, but we're looking to do fraud cases soon, and then followed right by lost and stolen.
So nothing else really is going to be changing with the process, the procedure of fraud cases. It's more how you retrieve the case sheet that you typically receive via fax. We also, just along the lines of fraud, we wanted to just touch base about the compromised card lists. And we had sent out, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was a month ago at this point, a reminder of the procedure of compromised card lists, and we guarantee to have the list to you within a few business days of receiving it ourselves, and then we give you as a credit union 10 business days to hot the card, any cards on the list. So sometimes it's just one card, sometimes it's several, so you definitely want to check that list out as soon as possible. And again, like the contact list that we created, we take whoever you have informed us to inform, and we send out that email. And on the 11th business day, we will automatically be hotting any cards that are are remaining on that list.
And I would say for those who are new or don't handle lost and stolen or fraud case sheets or CAM alerts, there's 3 different types, just to give you an idea. There are CAM alerts, which are our compromised card lists, which we have continued to upload to Connect currently, and that is a list of cards that MasterCard has sent off to Vantiv, letting their clients know of cards that have been compromised due to a Target or a Hannaford's compromise, small business compromises. So those will occasionally come in throughout each week or each month, depending on the volume. We usually will see a high increase during audit time, for sure. So unfortunately, you may start to see some more lists coming your way, but that's the compromised card listings. There's the fraud case sheets, and the fraud case sheets are transactions that are being questioned by Vantiv based on the member's spending pattern, the certain fraud score. So those fraud case sheets we'll email you letting you know we're faxing it to you currently, and again we're hopefully switching to uploading them to Connect, and those are done on an individual basis. They're not a list, they're by individual member
specific.
And as well as lost and stolen. If someone would call 1-800 MasterCard or the 800 number for Vantiv lost and stolen, that's how a lost and stolen report is created. So there's 3 different types of things that we contact you on at this time. So great. So the next thing we're looking at is some just reminders and updates in regards to Connect. And one of those areas is system notifications and announcements. And we can't stress enough that that's our primary contact with you daily. Both those areas have information that's helpful to almost anyone in the credit union that's working with the ATM debit card program for sure. So if a positive balance file is run, it lets you know that it's run and the exception report is there. When Jen finishes morning processing, it lets you know that your batch file has been uploaded and that file is ready for downloading. And in regards to online as well, if you have an activity file in network totals, it also will notate that for system notifications that your network totals and your online information is ready for downloading as well. So I think we can't stress enough to make sure that these 2 areas are looked at daily, if not more than a couple times a day, just to keep an eye on those 2 areas, because we use announcements as well.
We used it to put up, just a little alert that we were having this broadcast, and then also Jen has been putting the what are we calling it? Connecting the dots. And that's her tip of the week, which is helpful. Just addressing different things, patterns that we notice credit unions may have questions about, or concerns with Connect. So it's just a great thing to check once a week and remind your employees about, those that are using Connect often.
Yeah, and we'll also notify credit unions, like you said, in regards to the broadcast here. We'll also send out occasional emails, but announcements will also put in when your monthly reports are ready and have been uploaded. And if you're always trying to say, I don't remember what time frame those are uploaded, just keep a glance in the announcements, and it will tell you that they've been completed, as well as ATM terminal reports daily ones. We also make a notation there as well. So just asking everybody to keep an eye out there. We might answer your question before you pick up the phone, and give us a call saying, ATM terminal is not uploaded yet. It'll give you an idea if there's a delay as well. We try to put delays in there if there's
that's a good point. We do, if we are having any technical issues, phone issues or something like that, that you can check that. We usually throw it in the announcements versus system notification, but check both, because we may put it in either or.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the areas that we're trying to do within Connect itself is, after we've written the program, it's going to be 2 years on May 2nd, which it's crazy. It's gone by so fast. But one of the couple areas, we did the initial write of the program, and we have some added items along the way, and one of those things will be archiving. and I've started working on those and getting those implemented, and I hope to start to add new directories onto Connect as well. So
when you say archiving, is that just referring to old requests, old things that are currently?
Yeah, so what we're trying to do is keep the existing request list small, so it's speedy and responsive. So we have archived requests right back to the beginning of the program and have an archival strategy of keeping those out there for I think a year and a half. Just like we did internally, we would keep all our files for a year and a half and then shred them. At this point, the archiving will keep those out there for that time frame. And so if you have any questions on past orders over the last year, want an idea of what you've ordered over the last year, you can go into that area and search by card only. You can search by address changes. You can search by just about anything.
Helpful for kind of looking at trends of how many cards you're typically ordering, or different things.
And it's great because you can also export that list into Excel and manipulate it that way. You can do certain dates. You can do certain people who are ordering. Just about anything once you export it to Excel. So that directory, in regards to the Connect dashboard, that directory will be down under More Lists. It will say Archive Requests, and if you look at your computer right now, you'll see the location where we're going to start adding those directories. The other things that we're going to start doing as well, it will be archiving card lists and card holder lists too. So we'll start to get those directories on to the dashboard as time allows.
And and something just came to me as we're talking through existing older requests, that is one area that often, and I don't know if we can pull it up right now, probably not since we're using a test environment, but often people will use the search bar while in existing requests, and that's the only area I believe that you cannot use that search bar. You actually need to click on existing requests and then sort. So if you're looking for an old hot block or pin reset and wondering who did that and what date, you will need to sort through existing requests.
It's much easier to, because if you go up to the top and say it's for John Smith, if you type in Smith, you're going to get everything from the account being created. So if you're looking for,
I think those lists are those links don't work through the search bar.
If it was just a request, the request is gone. It's been completed. So it's easier to go to the actually existing request list, which we currently archive the full last month worth of data. The archival strategy is done every once a month. So and it's the best place to go in regards to that.
Sounds good.
And the next one that we have is is what's ahead, and this area is a little basic. We just wanted to give you a heads up on a few changes that are happening at Vantive or here at our office. And one of the biggest challenges I think all credit unions have is managing fraud. And as everyone knows, with the compromises that have come out in the last couple months with Target and Michael's, it's been a challenge. And I think people question, how can we tackle this as efficient as possible, for sure. And one of the things that Vantive has done is also taken in consideration what they can do to improve the experience that credit unions have and members have with this process. And one of the things that's going to occur in the next couple of months is Vantive has done a study for about 13 months on what's the pros of their current internal system and what's the cons of their current internal system. And Vantive has decided to go with an actual external fraud managing system called SAS. And I haven't researched it much, but from the conference calls that we've had over the last week, it's a product or company who has done analytics, analyzing many different things, and have added a new fraud program, fraud management program onto their portfolio.
So we really anticipate that this is going to be an enhancement to the program.
For sure. I mean, Vantiv really is saying, okay, we do these things great, but where can we improve? Where do we lack in certain areas?
Right.
And with the 13-month study, they had done an evaluation, had an external company come in and do an evaluation of their strengths and weaknesses. And the strengths were, Vantiv was best in class in regards to organization structure, best in data analysis of their fraud PRISM program that we currently use today. They were one of the leading in industry on the low false positive, so it's a better customer relationship of having that transaction denied or not denied based on scoring. The best knowledgeable staff, they had a really high positive review there, as well as they were certainly customer focused. They also, this evaluation company did a to-do list saying, okay, where can we improve? And a couple areas that Vantiv has is they have a dual fraud environment. They have a real-time fraud environment and they have a near real-time fraud environment. So it's a challenge to have those have both their own rules, their own scoring systems. So what ends up happening is you really don't have a full-blown system that's talking to each other as
working
great
together
as it could.
Right.
Yeah. So that was one area they want to improve on, and system flexibility of having more historical data. They have, I think, I'm not sure if it's 3 to 6 months, but they wanted more. And this SaaS company offers that.
Great.
As well as managing the fraud rules, having enough staff to do that, which is a challenge. They're staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but just having the knowledge there to continue to keep ahead of the fraudsters. And then they had more analytic tools. Being an analytics company that does that side of the business, there's a lot of rules around fraud and how to predict it, try to be ahead of the fraudsters rather than behind them. And with
more
this
proactive.
new company,
it sounds like this is going to be really beneficial and proactive towards preventing fraud.
And it was something that we just found out in the last 2 weeks that Vantiv's choosing to do. They are one of the first businesses to go with SaaS, and Bank of America has now signed on, and they were the second, and I guess Citibank, Capital One, and Discover are both going that direction next. They use them for their analytics side, but they are proving that this is going to be a great area to continue to challenge those fraudsters and have a great program. So there's going to be some changes certainly in the next couple of months within Vantiv and us getting information out to credit unions. So certainly please bear with us. One of the first areas that it will be changing in the next couple of months is they really are looking to implement the texting side, bringing in newer technology. So instead of having your member receive a manual phone call, I'm not sure if most companies do that today. I mean, I think most of my credit unions where I have a debit card, I'll get a manual call or a automated call.
Yes, same here.
And that's the direction they want to go. They need to move to. So you'll see some information from us on that route. Just getting those phone numbers in the system is really important. But if you want your member to get texts in regards to alerts saying, hey, is this valid charge or not valid charge, the system will recognize a cell phone number.
Cool.
So they won't get a text if it is a home number. So we're going to be transitioning that direction. So you'll see some information from us in the next, hopefully, couple of weeks or so, just giving you an idea of that new product, which would be step one, and we're waiting for the next steps on transition to the SaaS environment. So we'll definitely be getting that information out to everybody once that starts flowing in here.
So it sounds like there's just a lot of positive changes coming up within the program, especially in regards to fraud. And so,
yeah, it's definitely going to be a change, I think, for all our offices,
Right.
credit unions offices and our office. But if it's a positive change, it's definitely needed, and we can't be ahead of the fraudsters enough.
We've
and
seen a
anything will
huge
improve
increase,
it, so,
as the
yeah.
credit unions know, and as we're aware here in the office, just over the past couple of months, the fraud and prevention cases have really gone up, which just shows there's a great need for monitoring.
And you can always,
it.
there's always place for improvement.
Absolutely.
And if this does it, it's going to be a great positive reaction, hopefully, from members and
Right.
credit unions. So
Great.
we'll go in that direction.
Cool. So do we have any questions from any of our viewers? We welcome any comments that you have, but otherwise, I think we have covered most of what we were hoping to make you aware of some of the new things that are going on, some exciting things. The mobile deposit capture seems like one of the coolest things that we have going on right now, which is cool. And also, I'm sure you'll be hearing from us soon about when we'll be hosting our next broadcast, and we welcome your ideas surrounding this broadcast. If there's something in particular that you'd like to learn about or something you need more training on.
We're always here to help, and again, we greatly appreciate everybody's time today, and hope this format switch up works as well. We'll try to mix it up each time, and if anybody has ideas on areas that they want to hear about, please certainly let us know. That's the only way we're going to be able to improve these broadcasts. Absolutely. And get the information out to you and the credit unions. So again, we thank you very much for
thank you.
coming today, and hope you learned something new.